Yeah, I think it's a very important meeting. As the Speaker of the National Assembly has said, we have the support of the CPA. As you can see, many of our countries in the CPA, in the Commonwealth, have also, their countries have actually ratified the UN CRPD. So most of our countries here in the Commonwealth family are actually countries that are trying to actually really domesticate the CRPD, the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. I mean, and it is a honor that Kenya was chosen by the Commonwealth to host the inaugural conference for parliamentarians with disabilities. So out of this conference, the outcome that we see is actually what we are talking about. We are sharing experiences of countries in what they have done in terms of their constitutions, in terms of their policies, and we want to pick and share and see what we can borrow from South Africa, for example, from Sierra Leone, for example, and see how then we can best domesticate. Again, as I can tell you, Kenya is doing well on matters disability. As the Speaker has said, we had this kind of affirmative action even before the law, before the constitution. So we are in the right track. Many countries here are on the right track. So we are here basically to share the experiences of each and every country of the Commonwealth, to see what we can do for persons with disabilities, to see what politically, because our rights as persons with disabilities is enshrined in our constitution, is enshrined in the CRPD. And I can tell you, members of the press, that hardly do persons with disabilities make it to Parliament. I mean, have you seen? Persons with disabilities hardly become members of Parliament. And so without laws and without policies, we will hardly continue to see parliaments that do not have parliamentarians with disabilities. So we are here as CPA with the right intention of CPA to basically ensure, even as we move forward, that we propose and we make resolutions to actually propose that countries of the Commonwealth, continue really profiling persons with disabilities as members of Parliament. So you will see as we move forward, probably the next CPA should be having so many representation also of members of Parliament with disabilities. So it's an exciting moment for this country. It's an exciting moment for Africa. I am the chairperson of the Commonwealth Parliamentarians with Disabilities, and it's a big honor to Kenya to be able to really showcase what we have done and continue building on the family of persons with disabilities across the continent that is Africa and across the Commonwealth of the region. We will definitely like to develop other policies. You see how we can strengthen the already existing policies. Our policies are more strengthened in the Constitution because our rights are already in the Constitution of Kenya. So we want to see what are the new emerging issues, for example, from South Africa, or from what we can do to push even within parliaments. Parliamentarians themselves, we have our laws in our own standing orders. We are protected within that. But we want to also see how then do we continue strengthening our space within the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, of which our Speaker is our champion here and in the Africa region. Well, the issue of persons with disability inclusion is not it's not a begging matter. I mean, persons with disabilities rights as any other rights. Their rights in the UN Convention. And I want to also say that hardly many of the countries that are in the CPA that are in the Commonwealth have actually ratified the UN Convention. So what we want to see is then how do those countries domesticate these ratifications of the UN Convention into their various laws, into their various constitutions, and into their various policies that they have in their country. So it's a matter of continuing to put pressure for inclusion of persons with disabilities, both as voters, both as candidates, and both generally as members of Parliament. So we want to make sure that Africa region takes good care of or strengthens their policies that exist on persons with disabilities.